Hello and welcome to a bonus Nothing and Like It, which is going to be absolutely nothing like a regular episode. And that's because Eddie and I are just back from our first ever experience of a WXW Weekender. I am Kieran and Eddie, by the way. I don't know why you wouldn't know that and would be picking this as your first episode. And over there is Eddie Sideburn. Say hello, Eddie.
Hi, how are you? It's all good to be back here again.
Mm-hmm. The original plan was kind of to record this in our accommodation, GCP style, the morning we left, but equipment failure put pay to that. And then recording in the airport became a no-go as well. We are not going to go in depth, I think, on everything we saw, just highlight some vibes and chat about the experience. But first, Eddie, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock and cede the floor to you so you can go full Alvarez, should you wish, on your travel issues.
-5 stars. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna bury them. I fucking hate KLM. Right. So, it all started on the Monday because I was due to fly out on the Wednesday, but it turned out KLM had strikes in Amsterdam on the Wednesday. So they said I could get on a flight on the Tuesday, and the flight there to Dusseldorf and then to Amsterdam and then to Dusseldorf was all fine. On the Tuesday, there was no problems at all. The only thing I was out of pocket was I had to book a hotel, which I didn't really have an issue with because Mike Kilby and a couple of others who we met gave me a good recommendation of where to go. And I met a good friend that I've known for a while, never properly met, Philip Domi, and he took me around, or Philip Doman, he took me around Dusseldorf and showed me a couple of the sites and stuff like that. So that was fine. On the way home, I was on the train with Kieran, Matt, Blue Godzilla, and Ian Hamilton. And I suddenly
I believe at this point we were one stop away from the airport, weren't we?
One stop away. And I received a text saying that my flight from Düsseldorf to Amsterdam had been cancelled. And this was at 6:15 in the evening. It was supposed to be. So I panicked a little bit, but was calmed down. Went to the desk. Then the woman noticed that there was a flight to Amsterdam that was delayed. Which was at 12:15, and we got to the airport about, I'd say, because the picture I've taken with two people in the security, I was at 12:21, so I think it was about just before.
I think we went to that desk at about 11:45 is my recollection.
Yeah, and the security was extremely busy. There was you could hardly move in terms of that. So I got through security about 12:50, just maybe about 12:56, started running to where the desk was, and then I saw there was nobody there. And then I went and spoke to someone. They said, oh yeah, the plane took off. And I was like, okay. So I then went out the exit, went back to the same desk, spoke to someone else. They then said that because I'd missed the flight, they could rebook me onto tomorrow, but they were not going to cover my hotel or anything like that, so I would have had to find somewhere else to stay. I was fuming by that point, not at her, but I was fuming at KLM's pro policies and stuff like that, and I'm still in the process of trying to speak to someone through their live chat system, which is a pain in the ass. So basically I just booked a British Airways flight and ended up in Edinburgh, and that's the second time I have ended up in Edinburgh, even though I live specifically in Glasgow, due to some kind of flights changing or alterations or stuff like that. So
you ended up on the same plane as Ian Hamilton, didn't you, for the first leg of?
As I was wandering around the airport, I bumped into Ian Hamilton, and we found out we were both on the same flight. So, and you by that point, I think you'd went through your check-in anyway, and I think you were gone earlier anyway, so I just stuck to Ian Hamilton for a bit and finally got home on the day I was supposed to. But I will not be flying with KLM if I ever come back to Dusseldorf, and I will be. I let go of a couple of things with flight stuff. I will not be letting this go.
No,
they can go fuck themselves. But yeah, so that's it. How am I on for time? Was I 3 minutes? 2 minutes?
That's 4 minutes and remarkably restrained.
Yes, because
I think because you've had a couple of days to sleep on it. I think if we'd have done this yesterday, you probably would have been throwing things across the room.
It would have been like, I would have been throwing stuff around and saying "and another thing" every time, and probably not letting you speak. But I think I also, I mean, you heard my anger because I sent you a voice message where I was pretty raging at that point. So
yes, but the thing I liked about that voice message was you didn't actually get to the point until the final 2 seconds, and then it cut off. And I'm really sorry. I burst out laughing just because of your delivery.
It's okay.
I know it was a horrible thing to go through, but
I think I was lucky because I was in an elevator at that point, going down to McDonald's just to get someone to eat because I was so angry.
By the time I received that voice message from you, I'd already had a message from Ian saying, "Guess who's still here."
Yeah, I was wondering if I was going to do a gimmick of the man stuck in Dusseldorf airport where I just become like Tom Hanks's character in The Terminal. Finally got home. I landed in Heathrow and then from Heathrow to Edinburgh, and then got picked up and was driven home. So I was just glad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a bit more calm about it because I'm actually in the country when I should be in terms of that. I'm not having to use more.
You're home. I can see you're home.
I know. And it's not like suddenly this is just the presentation of it. I'm actually still stuck in Dusseldorf. And again, I will be making sure to take this up with KLM. I will not be stopping on it. And it's another good reason why Air France and Delta, I think, have decided to stop using them as flight crew in Amsterdam because they're fucking shit. Well, not shit, but they just keep cancelling stuff and then not coming up with proper explanations because there were other Amsterdam flights that were going off at, as I said, 12:50, 2:30, but the one at 6:15 is cancelled. I don't understand that. Make it make sense.
Well, I'm going to ring the bell. I think you've gone slightly over your time, but it's good that you are back home and calm.
Yes, thank you.
My only travel issues were my flight out was... so I went Gatwick to Dusseldorf because Gatwick's like about an hour from my place, really easy to get to. I did Gatwick to Dusseldorf. My plane was marked as being 45 minutes late before I'd even got out of bed. And bearing in mind, I got out of bed at 5 o'clock. And then when I was sitting at the gate waiting to get on the plane, somebody grabbed my shoulder and I turned around and just saw an orange hoodie and thought I was being attacked by a member of EasyJet staff. And it turned out to be our mate Gadge, who hadn't told anybody he was going. And through a process of social engineering, I'm going to call it, found out that he and I were on the same flight and decided to surprise me at the airport. All in all, a lovely surprise because I like hanging out with Gadge.
Yeah.
And he, as usual, was good quality over the weekend. So you went earlier than I did because you went to Inner Circle.
Yes.
So just quickly, what is Inner Circle and what were the good things about it?
So Inner Circle, from what, and someone will correct me, and it's completely fine.
By the way, as I think I said at the beginning, this is our first ever WXW experience. You've seen like some stuff. I've seen maybe 4 WXW shows in my entire life. This promotion's been going for 25 years. So if we get things wrong, we're very sorry. And we are not going to be up to date on all the characters and storylines going on. I basically went to see a bunch of wrestling.
Yeah. So Inner Circle is kind of the traditional, from what I know, kind of their kind of starter of any kind of festival weekend or any weekend shows or anything like that. And it normally takes place in their training academy. So their original training academy was in Essen, which is where they're returning to next year for Carrot. But this one was held in Gelsenkirchen. So we had to take a short train out. The venue is very interesting because you're going through an MMA kind of training academy kind of thing. So you're seeing people like hit body bags and an actual like octagon. And as you're walking, you just then walk into this hall and there's a wrestling ring and everyone's is standing room only, really. So me and Ian Hamilton found ourselves kind of in a nice wee spot beside one of the ring posts. And it's a mystery card, so nobody really knows what's happening. So nobody knows who's being booked and who you could see. If you're there early, then you'll see the wrestlers obviously coming in and stuff like that. But you have no idea who's gonna kind of be there at that point. So they were good. Normally, from what I was told, there's 5 matches to begin with, then there's an interval, and then there's another 2, and it finishes quite decently on time because obviously the majority of people are needing to get back to kind of Oberhausen and stuff like that. So far, I mean, as far as I don't know if you want me to go into kind of matches and stuff like that.
No, just like, were there a couple of highlights at all? I'm looking at this. This is like a 9-match card.
Yes, so 5 to be, because I think there was 5 in the beginning, and then another 2 or something, but then they added on another. Can't remember. But a lot of them, obviously, because like, for example, the WXW champion at the time, man called Manders, was there, and he was in one called Manders, and he was in the opener, and stuff like that. And then you had Adam Priest in the main event. And then you had like Violence is Forever as well. And it's kind of also a way of to showcase some of the WXW Academy talent as well, who we did see in sprinklings across the weekend. I really enjoyed, from looking back at my notes, the Goulias brothers. I really did enjoy them. Big boys from Hungary, started from the farm. Now they're here.
Large Hungarian farmers, yeah.
Yeah. Violence is Forever were quite good. Zoltan, I really like Zoltan. He's the Academy champ, and he took on Elijah Bloom, and they kind of worked well together. And then the main event, which was Robert Dreisker, aka Avalanche, against Adam Priest, that was really, really good as well. So overall, it was kind of a decent show to kind of kick off the weekend.
It's sort of like a bonus for anybody who's there a day early, I guess. Like you're knocking around an Oberhausen, got nothing to do. See if you can squeeze yourself into this.
Yeah, and then, oh, by the way, it's got like people you're going to see at the weekend who are kind of getting ready for the kind of week ahead and stuff like that. Yeah. So like Violence is Forever there against 2 lads from Wire. I think they were 2 lads who'd been in the academy and stuff like that. And then one called Manders teaming with a guy called M4, who I kept wondering if he was related to some kind of motorway, against the Hungarian, my favorite tag team of the weekend, the Goulias brothers, who got chopped to fuck out of that. It was quite like his chest was bloody the entire weekend. And I remember when I went to see them at the merch and they showed it off to Layla Hirsch, and Layla Hirsch went, oh, and kind of winced as well. So, but overall, a very kind of good way to start off the weekend, and to see people kind of take on people you'd never expect them to take on from the WXW Academy and stuff like that, and in a very tight-knit environment as well. So it was good.
Yes, I hear it's a stuffy little room.
It can feel like it at some points. I mean, I think Ian was telling me that Snowboy accidentally broke the central heating at some point, or something happened like that. I don't know whether it was this one.
Let's not lay blame at the feet of individuals. Let's just.
But yeah, very, very enjoyable, I thought, for the starter of the week.
Alrighty, and then the next night was the first of the Grand Prix shows. So this used to be Tag Fest, right? And now it's Pro-Wrestling Grand Prix.
Yes. So they went from just it being a tag tournament to having 3 different tournaments happen all at the one time. Although I think, from what I remember, Femme Fatales would still kind of happen at the same weekend. So maybe be Tag League.
Right. Okay. And they've added the Koenig de Catchers round robin tournament. So what was very confusing is 2 of these tournaments are single elimination, but the men's singles tournament is round robin in 2 blocks.
Yes.
Right. As much as I enjoyed this weekend, this is too much tournament.
And also by this point, Kieran had turned up finally, and I met him at the airport, and we had a decent time as well getting to her.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think Ian said it as well. I think this is the last time we'll see that format. I would not be surprised if we see it again. It did feel, I mean, to be fair, especially when it's a tournament called Coining the Catcher, and some of the stuff just ended up being non-catch wrestling and more so just like...
I was expecting with that title something more akin to, like, not exactly this, but Ring of Honor Pure Rules stuff. Like, with more emphasis on the wrestling.
Uh-huh.
And it was just normal.
Yeah.
It was just, all of these people have to do a lot of matches.
Yeah, because I remember, I think they did the tournament twice. I think once they did it, they did it in 2020 and they did it in 2021. And Marius Alani won the 2021 and Axel Tischer won the 2021 one. So it was on hiatus for quite a while, and then they kind of come back to it. And I'm looking at the stuff from kind of the second one. And there's like one of the matches is a tag team match in which the wrestler who scored the winning pinfall would qualify for the next round. And then there was another one where it was a first blood match, then a 4-way match, then a 2 or 3 falls, a relaxed rules match, an ambition rules match, and then a Catch Grand Prix rules match. So I don't know what happened. It seemed a bit off, and it didn't seem like it didn't fit what the description was. And I think you agree with me on that.
Wait, are you saying all of those match types were within the tournament we saw?
No, so the tournament we saw, that was for 4 years ago.
Okay. Sorry, I just got massively confused for a minute then, because I was like, I don't remember any first blood matches. I don't remember any tag matches.
So they did, for the quarterfinals, they did that, for this is 4 years ago.
Fine.
They did different stipulations to
different
each
steps.
match.
Okay, this sounds more WCW than WXW.
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels very WWE related, and me and you will definitely get that reference after we watched.
Yeah.
But yeah. What were you saying? Sorry, fire away.
So I'm just thinking about. I just noted down, like, for each show the matches that I liked. I'm gonna paint with a broad brush here. We saw a lot of very competent but not massively exciting 3-star wrestling. And that's sort of to be expected when these people are doing 6 or 7 shows in 3 or 4 days. Like on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we saw 2 shows each of those days. Yeah. And I think there were some people who were on all of them. So that's fine. If you want to save your body, there's no need to go all out. The general standard of the wrestling was good, if slightly lower than I was expecting, but it was not bad. There was stuff that the stuff I'm going to point out is the stuff that punched through that floor upwards, and the super crazies that punched through that floor downwards. Might have shown my hand there.
I think I can't wait for the timer on your review of Extreme Wrestling.
So from this first show, the matches that I really enjoyed were the Bobby Guns versus Marius Alani match in the Koenig to Catch tournament. We're going to be spoiling this, so if you want to see these shows, go and watch them and then come and listen to this. That was a 20-minute draw. I thought that was quite well paced and well worked, even though there was a point where you could see it coming. Because they don't start announcing time calls until they get to 15 out of the 20 minutes, and this was the first match to go over 15 minutes. Dragon Kid and Dragon Dyer, who were the big draw for me. So I've seen Dragon Kid before, but I've never seen Dragon Dyer. Versus Greedy Souls, I thought was good. Big Men versus Little Men tag match. And it was forcing the Dragons to come out of their Dragon Gate comfort zone into a standard format of tag match, and I think it worked very well. Uhura versus Adam Priest. Uhura's look is terrible, although someone did tell us that night when we were talking about him, he is officially and unofficially the sexiest wrestler in Germany, apparently. He looks like he is just wearing Tesco underwear and trainers. Apparently, this is more than he used to wear. He's a very good wrestler, though.
Yes, very good.
And then the main event as well, which was the grind of Lawrence Roman and Nick Schreier versus KXS, which stands for Kicks and Suplexes, Axel Tischer, and the fabulously named Fast Time Mudo. That's one of my favourite names in wrestling now. If you ignored the random WWE finishers and the team that are allegedly 50% suplexes only doing 2.5 suplexes in their match, that was also very good. Anything to add?
I enjoyed LeBron Cazone versus Elijah Bloom, but that was quite decent. That was the opener.
I expected more. So the way I described that one was WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
Two guys who've not worked together before, feeling it out, and everything felt a bit soft to me. Like what they were doing was okay, there just wasn't the conviction behind it. I got really sick of the arm in the crook of the elbow clothesline reversal. That happened at like 9 or 10 times in this one match.
I mean, let's not talk about rope assisted cutters as well to you at that point as well.
Oh, they love that in this company, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, wrestling in general, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Ahura versus Adam Priest was not bad. I enjoyed the tag matches that came from this as well. The Grind are very much a team you want to get behind, especially with Nick Schreier. He seems like the kind of lovable baby face of the team.
He's a very, very good face in peril.
Yes. It was very sad to see the Welsh defeat Dragon Lion, Dragon Kid, but kind of understood why with what was happening. Orsi, I liked Orsi. She defeated Becca, whose famous song got stuck in your head.
Oh, no, it won't. I think the way I described Orsi was she's almost something. Like, she's got a good look, there's some good fire about her, but there's something missing, and I don't quite know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we looked at it, the first show was quite pedestrian as far as there was good wrestling, and it was just kind of it was steady. It wasn't anything that kind of really blew us away. But we have to then remember they're setting up an entire kind of tournament at that point, and you had just you'd landed. So this was like we landed, we'd stopped off at the Airbnb, and then we were straight into this kind of stuff. So So I mean, for you as well.
Oh yeah. So I mentioned I'd been up since 5 a.m. Our next show then started at midnight, which is the Extreme Wrestling Party, and it's essentially them kind of doing like a little ECW tribute show. That they do a knockoff of the ECW TV opening to copyright-free versions of Closer and Thunderkiss 65.
But so the reason why this is because I believe GCW at one point had been invited over, and they did this spot. They had that midnight spot.
Right.
And then it was successful. So WXW had two options. They either continue doing the same thing, or they do a matinee one on the Saturday. And I think they just prefer doing this more than anything.
It's easier for arrivals, isn't it? People are mostly going to be arriving throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to miss a matinee show, but if they want, they can hang around and go for the midnight show. This wore me out. I had enough by the end of this. I'm calling this out. This is the worst show of the weekend. All the matches were short. A lot of them were not very good. I will say the opener, which was Violence is Forever versus Hyperactive, which is Anita Vaughan and Sapphire Reed, was very good. I thought that was really well worked. Everyone came out of this looking good. It didn't look silly because it was men versus women. Like the Jesus Christ, like the forearm battles were huge in this. And Guarini and Ku are heavy men. Like they are thick set boys who can throw a forearm, and Anita and Sapphire were giving it right back. Didn't outstay its welcome. It's only about 11 minutes long. Just a really good, solid opener. And for me, best match on this card by a considerable distance, especially when we get around to talking about the next match.
Yes, so the next match, which Kieran decided to go for the toilet to, and it finished and started at the same time he went away.
So two good-looking, skinny, muscular young men came out, started their match at 100 miles an hour, and then settled down. And I was like, right, this is my time to go for a piss. Went and had a piss, came out, sat back down. One guy hit the 600th rope-assisted cutter of the day already and scored the pin. The match went 7 minutes, and I spent 5 of them having a wee.
So this was Zoltan, who quickly he's just turned 18. He is
I don't know if he is 18. Somebody postulated that he may have just edited his Twitter profile because he was working at an 18 plus show.
We cannot comment and we do not know. We'll just believe the Twitter bio. So Zoltan versus Ricky Souza in 7 minutes. Really, really good. One of those kind of like fast-paced, quick matches that you would see from kind of any wrestling more than anything. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. Both of these guys seem to have a really kind of good future about them. I mean, I think Ricky Souza's been wrestling for about 3 years. From looking at what I can see, he's 20, and then Zoltan is 18/17.
Jesus.
But the first 2 matches of this show started off thinking, oh, this is actually quite ECW feeling because it's quite, good match, and then a quick match, and then our friend Lawson gets spear stolen in the next match. In one.
This was the highlight of this match. So it's one called Manders versus Alexander Bellamy, and Bellamy is kind of like the lackey for Norman Harris, who's like the affluent rich heel, the $1 million man, if you like, of WXW, the €1 million man. And I can't remember what Bellamy got if he won. But if Manders won, he got Harris's credit card. And they fight all around the ring, all around the building, all around ringside. Manders does a spot where he picks up a cup with not much beer left in it, throws it in Bellamy's face. Bellamy then gets control, and it's like he's going to do the same. And he grabbed the full €5 pint of our friend Chris Lawson, marched to the other side of the building and dropped the entire thing in the bin. Lawson was raging.
Oh, his face is a picture looking back at that again. So that happens. One called Manders ends up winning. Because one called Manders is the hero in essence of the week, being the WXW World Heavyweight Champion at the time. And then quite possibly the most bizarrest thing happens after that. One of the referees, who is also apparently a shoot travel agent, comes out with drinks for everyone in a drink trolley.
So Manders got the mic and said, because he won, it was drinks on everyone. When they asked how he was going to pay, he presented the heel's credit card. Yes. And they were like, well, how much do you want? And he's like, €1,000. So allegedly €1,000 of free drinks came out. It was on a little cart that said Ring Bar on it. And they were handing out shots of something that made Eddie make an incredible face when he tried it. And there were a couple of bourbon guns going around. So Lawson went up and made sure he got as much free booze he could have, including Manders shooting him in the mouth with the bourbon gun.
It was Rainer Ringer, the referee, who came out. He's the travel agent. He came out with the beer tin.
Yes, then they did a skit on the screen where Manders found Rainier backstage. They had a discussion about something or other, and then he was like, I think I'm going to go on holiday. And Rainier threw everything else away, like put a jacket on, put a laptop on the table, sat down, and magically became a travel agent. And unfortunately, the €1,000 of drinks had maxed out the card, so Manders wasn't able to book the holiday he wanted in Bora Bora, was the upshot of this. It was very silly and a lot of fun. Yes. The next 2 matches were terrible. there was an extreme scramble match, which just had people just kept coming out. Someone came out and started talking on the mic. Then Becca came out and did her song, and the ring announcer just went, "Fuck it, this is now the scramble match." So other people now entered, including Eddie's favourite, Ravy Davey. Let me hit the Alvarez timer.
I think it was something about German pop idol or something like that. They were trying to do it, and then Becca came out, and then she started singing. And then Ravy Davey came out, and I shook my head. And then he started singing, "I'm going to sing the national anthem of Scotland," and sang 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. And then everyone started fighting. And then the ring announcer just went, "Fuck it, it's a scramble match." And we had Becca, we had Griffin McCoy, top guy time. We had Ravy Davey.
The alleged top guy who has a hole directly on his arsehole on his tights. Top guy can't afford a needle and thread.
Well, he may have missed the needle and thread at that point. He may have been too busy at that point. He had to get ready. He was going to France, I think, at some point as well during the weekend. So, and then we had a couple of other wrestlers who I don't think we saw for the rest of the weekend.
No.
The winner we did see, and that was Stephanie Mays.
Yes, this was the point where I'd had enough. However, we only had one set of keys for our accommodation. So wherever Eddie went, I had to go.
But yeah.
It then meant I had to see Super Crazy shitting it up. He sucked. He's 1,000% washed. And unless he flew himself over and worked for free, somebody got robbed. I called him a sweaty ham rolled in pubes. He looked absolutely fucked within 2 minutes of this match, and he was terrible.
I think he's all. I mean, I think I remember seeing him in Noah or All Japan, and even looking then and thinking he is so kind of washed at this stage. It is just unbelievably bad.
Yeah, he's been in Dragon Gate this year, only for one match, I think, and I saw him in Japan in 2010. It's either 2009 or 2010. I went to my first All Japan show. It happened to be the final night of their junior tournament, which meant the main event I got to see of my first ever All Japan Pro Wrestling show was Super Crazy versus Shuji Kondo. Ooh. Super Crazy in 2010 was much better than Super Crazy in 2025, who is he is your stereotypical fat, useless lucha lump now. He's not good. He's not good at all. This was bad. And then there was a silly...
he lost to Dennis Dulnik. Cash the man, or whatever his name was. And he'd been torturing poor Hector Invictus over the course of the week.
Oh, yes.
But yes, and then we came on to... your ECW nostalgia match.
Yeah, it was fake FBI called the CIA, and I can't remember what that stood for. Classy Italian arseholes or something. Against the team of Planet Gojira, who came out as the Dudley Boys. And all I will say is I am very glad they didn't black up the guy playing Devon.
Mark Empire and Robert Dreisker. Everyone loves Avalanche.
or as I call them, Avalanche and Matty Edwards, because Mark Empire just looks like Matty Edwards.
He absolutely does. I'm still waiting if I can see a photo and then send it to Matty and go, never knew you started bulking up and wrestled in Germany at that point. So this happened, and then during it, because there was three of them in the CIA.
Yes, only two of them were officially in the match, but the third one it was all ECW rules. The third one was interfering liberally. And then Nick Schreier came out as hardcore Schreier, dressed as Little Spike Dudley, and that turned the tide for the fake Dudley Boys to get the real win. And then I just put the last two matches were piss poor plunder matches. There was the four corners of very average weapons match, which just had like a board, a stick, an inflatable club with pins stuck on it, and something else I can't even remember. That was crap. And then there was the three-way fans bring the weapons match, the highlight of which was the first weapons used were the ones that our mates had brought along.
Yes. My favorite bit as well, and one thing I do, is our reaction when the referee tried to pull Norman Harris away from the board.
Oh, no. Oh, it was a barbed wire board, wasn't it? And he didn't pull Harris away from the board, so Harris got like speared or powered or whatever through the board, and it ended up sandwiching him. And the ref just grabbed it and pulled to take it off him. Thankfully, it didn't come with skin, but it took like a lot of hair with it.
Mm.
And like I was like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, let him do that himself.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
Yeah, we had the duality of Scotland in this show with Emerson Jane in that one, and Ravy Davy in one match, and then we ended the night with a freeway with the Iceman,
our only FWA connection.
The only FW connection and a WXW Hall of Famer defeating Green Phantom, and we didn't know he was going to be there or not. Matthew Justice. So yeah, and that show finished about 2:30, and then we made the walk from we made our way back after that, and that was us into Saturday at that point.
Yes, day one done. Day two, I've only got three matches written down from day two.
Was this because this was we went to WXW We Love Wrestling, which was in essence their TV show.
No, We Love Wrestling was on the final day.
Oh right. Oh sorry, I forget. This is we're talking about. I know who we're talking about
now. So from day two, probably my favourite match of the weekend, Sapphire Reed versus Stephanie Mays. I thought they worked really well together. Adam Priest versus Joseph Fennick Jr. I thought was good.
Okay.
Priest was a standout this weekend, and I was chatting briefly to Alan Forel about it online. Not so much for what he was physically doing in the ring. I was watching his mind work. He was constantly, in every moment, how can I make this moment as good as it can be?
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable and unbelievably professional wrestler. The only problem is he's very obviously 5'5". Yeah. Which was made massively obvious when he had a singles match with Dragon Kid on the last show, and they put the 6'3" ref in with him. And those two boys were the same height, and the ref looked like he was reffing children.
Yeah,
muscular children, but children.
And we do have to shout as well that him and Adam Priest and LeBron Cozone were the two Deadlock Pro Wrestling DPW kind of representatives. And I think both of them gave a good account for themselves.
I was less impressed with Cozone than I thought I would be. I think his. To the point where actually I haven't written down any of his matches as ones to point out.
Okay.
I think his last match was his best one. But I think Priest was consistently solid every time.
Yeah. I mean, I've got down his match against Griffin McCoy at Inner Circle was quite good. I think the only other matches I've got from him, I think that is unfortunately the only match I've got from him.
Yeah.
But I thought he was decent. He wasn't out of place, put it that way, because originally it was supposed to be Akira Francisco, but then he injured himself, so they then brought in LeBron Cozone.
The other match I've written down from this second show is the one I've just called Fridge Fight, which was Violence is Forever versus the Hungarian Farmers, the Goulias brothers. Holy shit, they beat the hell out of each other.
As I'd already mentioned, the Goulias brothers, one of them had specifically had quite a tough weekend already, because in the match against Manders and M4 Inner Circle, his chest was bleeding from the chops. So for them to go into this match with Kevin Koo, who loves a headbutt, and Dominik Guarini, who's not afraid of a chop, this was meat on meat, and it was great. I loved it. They are, the Goulias brothers have come out this weekend as being one of my favorite tag teams, and I got a photo with them as well, and it was wonderful. But yeah, it was so good. This was and then Was there any other matches from this?
No, they're my highlights from this one.
Okay, we left it. We left just as the main event was kicking off.
Yes. So the main event was Bushi and Tetsuya Naito versus Metehan and Rambo. And I've been off the Naito train for at least 10 years now, and so has he. By the look of him, he looked like a teddy bear dressed as a wizard when he came out, and like I was concerned he wasn't going to make it down the ramp, because the ramp at WXW is quite steep. Like, it could do with sticking out an extra foot. That would like soften the slope a bit. Several people, nobody actually properly stacked it unintentionally. Like, there were some pratfalls down it, and someone took a bump and took a slide down it on their back on one show. But I thought this was going to kill Naito off for good. I have no interest in watching Tetsuya Naito wrestle. I was much happier. We were actually the first people out of the building. We were the first people to get through the front door and wander off to find lunch. Yeah, that was much more appealing. Having that burger was much more appealing than watching Tetsuya Naito wrestle against Metehan and MeatyHam.
Rambo got a standing ovation for it, apparently, as well.
I am told from the people who stayed behind that he held that together and put in a hell of a performance.
Well, I mean, you have to try against the slow, methodic style of Tetsuya Naito against the slow, methodic style of Metehan, where basically their gimmicks are just pointing to their eyes in some way. One thing I did put as well is I did like the opener of this, which was Planet Gojira against the Hype Dogs of Kuro and Mecha. I thought they were quite good, well matched teams against each other in the World Tag tournament. So I like that.
I wasn't feeling the Hype Dogs. I wanted to. Like, they look great.
Oh yeah.
I still don't know what's the pink one called. I still don't know what the pink one is called.
Kuro, the one. So Kuro and Mecha. Right.
Yes, I know Mecha because it's got written on him. He basically just like he's Black Jeff Cobb, right? Down to the gear. He has Jeff Cobb's gear, and it just says Island Soldier on the back and Mecha on the front, or the other way around. The other guy is dressed in some fabulous pleather pink flares, I guess, and they didn't quite have it for me. I can see what they're going for, but it's not doing it for me.
He did a nice. What I will say is, Kuro loved a good high kick. Like, some of the kicks he was making, it was always quite high up kick. So
yes,
but yes. So we went to get lunch after this, and then we didn't have much time. Yeah, we had a little bit of time because we'd missed the first match.
Was this 360 or was this when we went to the other place?
We did.
Was Alex the next day?
Yeah,
Alex was the next day. Yeah.
One of them. That'll be fine. But yeah, we went to show 3 now after this. So
yes, the evening show. Only 2 here for me. Sapphire Reed versus Layla Hirsch. I thought they were very well matched. I've been a fan of Layla Hirsch pretty much since she showed up on AEW. Like, there's even just in her look, there is nobody else like her. Like, nobody else is that tiny powerhouse. I mean, there might be a few in Joshi, but like in the West, like, there's nobody else like her.
No, and she's like, her weekend this week. Unfortunately, she's not been on one of the card, but I can remember like her matches have been impactful, and she's been quite good with it. I mean, she was quite good in defeat here to Sapphire Reed.
And my other highlight match was Dieter Schwartz and KXS, who appear to be collectively known as Team Sport, as they have that all over their gear, against Dragon Dyer, Dragon Kid, and Zoltan.
Yes.
Really, again, it was big men versus little men, 6-man action. Yeah. And I thought this came off really well.
Yeah. Zoltan, I think, again, has had a really good weekend. A good week even. He's positioned in the right way here with these guys. It would not be surprising if he had or was offered a stint in kind of Dragon Gate, because I think that'd be a very interesting
at least a tour
thing for him to do. Yeah, even just a tour. But yeah, he did. He was again. He was quite good, and that match was quite good as well.
He's obviously not completely there yet, simply because he's so young. But he is a star of the future. Given how old he is, he's an exceptional wrestler.
Yes. You just want them though to get more experience in terms of that, and you want them to go out and do other things before they spend a couple of years in a performance center or
hopefully that doesn't happen. Like he should be sent away for seasoning. Like let him do a Dragon Gate tour for a few months, or if they want to keep him for a year, send him away for a year, and then come back to WXW and make him your big thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I definitely concur with that.
Any other highlights?
So after that, we had the Grind defeating Planet Gojira in the semi-final, which was quite a shock. It was kind of out of nowhere because, again, the tournament is not for the belts. So, and the Grinder, it's two babyface teams in essence. So I thought that was quite decent. One thing I can say, and I've said already, Hector Invictus had the most awful week. He from Dennis pulling down his pants and trying to throw him. I mean, who throws a shoe, really?
Yes. Apparently, the ring crew got hold of those and hid them, and he had to walk around backstage in his socks. So he lost by count out on this show, but that was all. Really quickly as well. Like this was like, it was one of those, I don't know, kind of like don't do this moments, and then they did it.
Yeah. And then what I liked about it is Ahura showed a bit more of his kind of charisma that I hadn't seen already, and I was like, yeah, I can see you being like very interesting.
Yeah, so his previous match, he seemed like he's massively over.
Yes.
And he seemed like a babyface, but this was where he started healing it up a bit more and showing a bit more of his natural personality, I think. Or natural wrestling persona, let's say. I'm not going to say he's a real life heel because I don't know the man, but this was like where I think the more what the regulars see of Ahura came out.
Yeah, I'd say so. But again, it was one of those things where we're looking at him like, yeah, I can kind of understand why fans came behind you and stuff like that, and why kind of everyone was enjoying him. And then, other than that, not really anything else.
No.
This night was normally, this was night 2 of it. Well, I say night 2. It was night 2, show 3. And we then got to the main event, which was quite a kind of soul destroying moment if you're a long term fan of WXW. I feel. We had the main event of Peter Tahani against one called Manders for the WXW Unified World Wrestling title, because Tahani had never technically lost the title, and then Manders picked it back up. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that, Kieran?
I don't remember anything apart from the leg stuff towards the end. Yeah. I remember, so there was Tahani was working on Manders' leg and got his boot off and took his sock off and then started chopping the bottom of his foot. And I looked over to see Dragon Dyer piss himself at the merch table watching this. For the last 5 minutes of this match, he had a massive grin on his face. I don't. Again, this is in the 3-star bucket. I'm afraid this was all in the average competent wrestling bucket. Mm-hmm. They tried to do it the other way with Manders also getting Tahani's shoe off, but they couldn't undo it. Like they were struggling for ages trying to get this shoe off. Manders tried to get it off. Tahani tried to get it off. The referee came over and I heard him say in English, "I can't get my fucking shoe off." So I don't know what was supposed to happen. And then the finish just happened. I'll tell you something I noticed as part of the style is you would have a wrestling match, then there would be a very short break in that match, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then the finish kind of happened as a coda to what you'd been watching. And that happened in match after match. It must just be the style. It felt like a lot of the time there was a whole match planned out, and then someone else came along and went, "This is your finish."
Yeah, I think as well,
and very often the finish did work in with what had been the theme of the match and the story of the match running through. There was a lot of times I noticed it would get to the point where someone would hit their finisher and you'd think it would be over, and then the guy would kick out, and then the guy who did the finisher would pick him up, hit a clothesline, and then that was the finish. Like a bit Japanese, but I started noticing the pattern in match after match. I think it's because we saw a lot of it in a very compressed period.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think what I liked about the main event is they kind of took out the heel manager doing you think, okay, the heel manager's there, so he's going to get involved. But then Manders takes him out with a lariat. I think his name is Robin,
because he stole. That's right. So the manager, I don't know who the manager is. He looked like he was another wrestler from the shape and size of him. They do the ring intros for the title matches in the ring. Yeah. So normal matches, like the ring announcer is doing the announcements as they walk down the aisle. Title matches in the ring, and they do the New Japan thing of having the camera in the ring as well. I thought that looked really good. I love that kind of presentation. And as they were introducing the challenger, the heel manager swiped the belt out of Manders' hand and handed it to the heel for him to hold up during his entrance. And then Manders took it back and fucking leveled him with a clothesline, and he got taken out.
Yeah, his name is Robin Christopher Forwick. But he got absolutely lariated to hell. And I remember the ending and feeling very like it was a very flat ending.
Yes,
but as you kind of said, it's the end of the second act, so it's kind of like. And again, I've seen from WXW and stuff before where they have that certain pattern where not even the end of the second act. It's pro wrestling. Shine heat, come back home. This is the heat. Yeah. Your comeback starts on the next show. Yeah, but what it led to, and we'll talk about it on the final show of the weekend, was something that I don't think I've ever been a part of in any kind of wrestling before. And was really kind of surprised at how it went, but so that's how that ended. Peter Tahani is your again WXW Unified World Wrestling Champion for a second time.
And our next show was lunchtime on the Sunday. We Love Wrestling number 71. I guess this is kind of like an internet TV show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It was 1 hour 50 minutes, and they crammed 10 matches into this. The longest match I can see is 10 minutes.
I mean, I turned around to you at one point and said, we've seen it's 12:45 and we've already seen 6 matches or something like that.
Yes, nothing hung about. Nothing went too long. I will definitely say that on the show. However, the only match I have noted down as standing out above the 3-star bucket was Dragon Dyer versus Zoltan.
Okay.
Which very much felt like Zoltan's Dragon Gate audition. It was okay, kid, let's see what you can do.
Yeah, I can see. I think I liked Dragon Dyer versus Zoltan. Very good. Then the non-title match of Panic Goshira against the Goulias brothers. That was quite good. And then we got Metehan and Rambo against Alexander Bellamy and Norman Harris. I cannot remember much about that.
I remember Harris didn't tag in once.
Oh yes. Bellamy took most of the heat.
So it was just Bellamy taking a kicking for 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it was.
And we've got to talk about the main event because it was Dennis Duldig defeated Hector Invictus, or as I'm now going to call it, man gets kneed in balls. I don't know if you could see it's on Matthew's Blue Sky.
It will. I strongly suspect it will feature in the next Botchamania.
But our good friend Lawson not only had a pint stolen away from him, but also had a man in his lap and almost had a knee in his balls. Quite lucky. I don't think he actually.
I do believe it was actually a foot on the thigh, on the upper thigh. When I talked to Lawson about it, he said an inch higher, and it would have been my right nut. But the face he makes is amazing. You will see this. I can guarantee it. And then the finish of this just didn't work, did it? So they had a table in the corner where you could see how they'd scored through the bottom of it. And Hector Invictus basically ended up Simon Millering it, just going donk and bouncing off it. And then a move happened and it was over.
Yeah, and then Dennis Dolning is now your new WXW shotgun champion. So yeah, was what it needed to be. That show was just really, really quick as far as the wrestling went. And now, as the ring announcer likes to say, we have come to the crescendo of the. He was really great. I loved him. Unfortunately, Tommy Geisner loves the suit. Comes out to Samba Dejani. He unfortunately was ill 2 hours before the final show. So a guy named Matt, what is his name? Is Matt?
His name is he's the meat lover Met something, and I don't know what the something is. I will say they have 3 ring announcers, essentially of different levels. So you've got your your rock and roll guy who wears his cap backwards and he's wearing his shorts and his Vans and his waistcoat. And he's your cool like rock and roll ring announcer. Then you've got Met, who's the guy in the middle in a suit. With the who's very excitable, then your classy main event guy is Tommy, who is an older gentleman. I won't say he's grey haired, he's distinguished looking, he wears a tux, he's got an excellent voice, and I was really surprised on the first show where Dan just basically came out and did like a pre-show intro thing where somebody proposed to their now fiance. And then he was gone. Like I assumed, given the grubby room we were in, given the rest of the look of the show, I just assumed he was going to be the ring announcer. And then, despite the rest of this grunge, a man in a tuxedo then ring announced the entire show.
Honestly, Tommy Giesen, what a man. I've seen him before when they've done WX over in Germany, but it was Metz Damasi became the ring announcer for our final show as the crescendo of WXW Wrestling Grand Prix, and we started off with a pre-show 6-man tag with Kieran's favourite new tag team and trio of Dieter Schwartz and KXS against Stephanie Mays, and the final appearance of Violence is Forever here. So
this is an 8-match card. I wrote down 6 matches on one segment as being highlights of this. As a show, this was easily the show of the weekend. This is the last one. Everybody's going to pull the stops out. This match made the list. Yeah. This was Big Lads and Stephanie Mays battering each other. Again, Mays didn't look a moment out of place. Like she's kind of got a bit of a martial arts gimmick to her, like a bit of a Muay Thai thing going on. She wears Muay Thai shorts. She does a lot of kicks. Mudo on the other team has very similar Muay Thai shorts, and I believe they used to be tag champions together.
There was a reason when the kind of moment happened, because they've apparently kept them separated for quite some time.
Right. Okay.
And then there was that moment where they both kind of stared at each other in the ring, and it was like, oh boy, here we go. But yeah, they were tag champs in about 2022, so kind of really good with that. But that I thought this match was, especially having those teams, because Theater and KXS seem to be kind of like he's the catch can wrestler kind of thing, and they are kind of obviously actual t-shirts experiencing that kind of all worked.
Yes. He Dieter Schwartz reminded me very much of Timothy Thatcher with teeth. Is basically what he looks like. I've got to say, half of this fucking roster are bald men with beards. They're just different shapes of bald man with beard. There is a distinctive look in WXW at the moment among the male wrestlers.
You must be bald and have a beard, and you can work for us, no problem.
Yes. The next one on my list is Ahura versus Joseph Fennick Jr. in the Block B of the König der Catcher tournament. I haven't written an awful lot of notes because I thought we were going to be recording this pretty soon afterwards, so I've forgotten a lot. Like I can't remember why I liked this, but I liked it.
Yeah, I remember a couple of things because I think there was, I don't remember whether it was this one or another match that I'm sure her will be on, where it was kind of like there was a lot of springboards and then there was reverses of moves into the springboards and stuff like that. But the former Senza Volto, Joseph Fennick Jr. and Ahura was quite a good match. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember too much, but I do remember it's on my list, so it is something I enjoyed.
Yes. And then, so with Hector Invictus having been not only bounced off a table and beaten for his title the previous night and bloodied up, he was then beaten up by Dennis Dullard, whatever his name is, after the match, and he is out injured. So he's out of the tournament because he took this no-holds-barred match for his shotgun title. As Eddie mentioned, this man had a bad weekend.
Very bad weekend.
So... the B block at this point was quite tied up. There were several people on 4 points. Ahura beating Fennick meant he then became the outright winner of B block with 6 points. It also meant that the match between Adam Priest and Hector Invictus was off due to Invictus being out. So he came storming out. Priest came storming out, yelling and screaming about being screwed over by German referees again. His point was actually that Fennick's shoulder was up and he wasn't pinned. Therefore, that match was null and void and he was being screwed over by German referees again. And he issued an open challenge, which was answered by Dragon Kid. And as I said, like, these are two small, muscular men with a giant referee following them around. They had a great match, though. Like, Priest selling for Kid's offense was great. This was where I really saw his wheels turning and trying to make sure his opponent looked as good as possible whenever the opponent was on offense, and then making sure he looked as good as possible, still within his character, when he was on offense. So, for example, you remember that mad DDT he pulled out on Collision? That inside-out tornado DDT? None of that, because he's a heel here. Doesn't do that stuff. His heat is all like kicking and forearms and cheating and like grinding an elbow into a hold and that kind of stuff. And that worked really well up against the flying of Dragon Kid. And although Priest is small, he is strong enough to base for a man the size of Dragon Kid.
Yeah, I will say, like, in the match against Robert Dreisker at Inner Circle, he did the great old heel tactic of grabbing I think it was someone connected to the earpiece or something.
Oh, yes. So the referees will have earpieces, and didn't he grabbed the battery pack and bashed Dreisker with that to get the pin? Yeah. And the reason he lost one of his tournament matches was because he went for it and the referee pulled himself away in time this time, and he got beaten by his opponent.
Yeah, so it was like one of those things where it's like when he's a heel, he's a really heely shit. There was a great moment where one of the things as well I liked, and quickly just going back to it, is there was a moment where he tried to go for a chop block on Dreisker in the Inner Circle match, and Dreisker reversed it, and I was like, that's brilliant. Like, I've not seen someone, he just jumped when he knew that he was going for it. But Adam Priest as a heel has been roll tide, but he's been incredibly well on this weekend.
It is such a shame he's not 6 inches taller. He would be a huge star.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was one of the people I've seen him before, I've liked him before. I really had my eyes open to him this weekend. Before we carry on with wrestling, we need to talk about the Manders Wonderland. So former champion One Called Manders comes out to do a promo, and it looks like he's going to, talk about, thank you very much, my time is done in WXW. That man did not get to speak for 7 minutes because the crowd would not stop singing Walking in Amanda's Wonderland. They love him in Germany. He's so over. Yeah. This was, again, I went and had a wee in the middle of this song, and it was still going when I came back.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's they find an import and they just cling to them. And it's
Shigehiro Irie.
Yeah.
Had his career made by WXW.
Gringo Loco got this type of reaction a long time, about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and then obviously Manders gets this reaction. And the good thing is, it's not goodbye. It's see you later, because I believe he is on the anniversary shows, as I also believe that Erie is on the anniversary show as well.
Yes. Yes, and they start soon, don't they?
Yes. So, but yeah, it was 7 minutes non-stop before he spoke.
I've never seen a reaction like this, especially not on an indie show.
It only stopped when he stopped it, not anybody else in terms of that.
And it wasn't even in danger of losing steam either. Those people would have gone all night.
No, and he's lovable. I don't know what it is about him, but he's just incredibly like a nice guy, and he'll chat with you the merch, and he'll do he does everything. Really,
of course he will. You were wearing his hat.
I bought his hat. Yeah. But yeah, and his theme song as well. Like when you hear people are chanting "One Called Manders" during it, and it's like almost like hardcore country, but One Called Manders, but not as annoying as that song.
Yes.
So
I did notice that they display his name in the video to that rhythm of "One Called Manders" to encourage you to do it. Yeah, it's very smart.
I think it was one of the things as well, because a couple of our friends who we know, when Carrot happened, I think they all bought cowboy hats, and they all wore cowboy hats for Manders at Carrot. So it's like, it's pretty clear they find an import. The import, becomes that kind of guy, because that crowd is so special, and you get that. So wonderful.
Yep, really great. And then the other 3 matches I've got written down as my highlights were, thankfully and appropriately, the 3 tournament finals. Greedy Souls beat The Grind in the tag tournament final, which I thought was really good until the finish. If the baby faces had won this when it looked like they were going to win it, I'd have gone 4 stars on this. As it was, they did it was, as I said, it was a self-contained wrestling match, and then a finish from somewhere else happened.
Yeah, they killed poor Lawrence Roman. They sent him into the shadow realm of the chairs, and then picked on poor Nick Schreier and the Welsh.
Yeah, they did. Like Danny Jones pulled the turnbuckle pads off, didn't he? And then they whipped him into that, and then did their finish on him, which also targets the back. Yeah, so it made sense as a finish. It just felt like it was tacked on from a different match.
Yeah, I shouted "Wales suck." And then Brendan White turned around when he was making his entrance and said, "Who said that?" And I kept quiet.
And you kept very quiet. I believe I also shouted, "The only good thing to ever come out of Wales was Aviv Mayan," and he wasn't even fucking Welsh.
But yeah, so I enjoyed that. It was quite, the grind of kind of Nick Schreier, such a good baby face in peril and stuff like that. So you did feel kind of deflated when it turned out that the greedy assholes, as they've been called all weekend, got the win at that point. But yeah, and I think, as I say, we're going to talk about it. The 3 finals were really good matches.
Yep. Yeah, the next one was the Femme Fatale final, Sapphire Reed versus Anita Vaughn, tag team partners. And they did a little video earlier on of them arriving at the building together and then having to split off and go into separate doors for separate locker rooms, which was quite nice. The ring announcer really bigged up the tag team partners and best friends are going to collide in the final. And they had a hell of a final. I really like the way this escalated from... We are friends. We're just going to have a wrestling match, and then Anita snuck a strike, and Sasaf was like, "Oh, okay, right, fine. We're hitting each other, are we?" And then it built and built and built, and became they always looked like they wanted to win, which I think is very important, particularly when it comes to tournament finals. And then they did a spot where Sapphire got hit with a move on the outside, and she wasn't going to beat the 10 count. And so Anita went out through the ropes to break the count at 9 and picked her up and was like, "If I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you properly," and rolled her back in. Yeah. Unfortunately, that would be her undoing, as Sapphire would go on and win. But they held nothing back. I will say I am not quite convinced yet on Anita Vaughn. However, Sapphire Reed is my MVP of the weekend. all 4 of her matches made my list. I thought she was fucking brilliant. And I have previously, I think because I saw some of her very early stuff, I've previously been down on her thinking, oh, really? Like, I saw her before she was any good. Suddenly, she's really good.
Yeah.
And over as well. I don't know how many times she or they have been to WXW. If she got this over the course of 3 days, that's amazing as well.
Hyperactive, I would have, like, if they hadn't had the women's tournament, I could have easily seen them slotted into the World Tag Team tournament and would have had no issue with it. I thought they would have been on the same level par with the majority of that teams in it. They were good. It was the moment where, as well, at the end where Anita realised she won and she looked down at Anita and they hugged each other. And it was like that moment where it's like, I'm sorry I had to do this, but I had to do it. And then the ending as well, it was quite emotional, that especially if you'd seen it over the course of the weekend and stuff. So
I heard some people complaining like, oh, they did the tag team partners and best friends thing, now have to fight each other, but like they've only tagged this weekend in WXW. But I don't think that matters. Like, I think they got it over well enough. I mean, for God's sake, I think I've only seen one hyperactive match in the UK, but it was very easy to understand.
Yeah, it did what it needed to do, and you didn't really have any real major complaints about it because both of them were over. Anita won the Femme Fatales last year, so she's defending it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She's now defending it against her tag team partner, someone who she cares about. They're both in both of those matches. I mean, they both came out wearing the hyperactive gear in it, so it was quite a sweet touch to it all. This is the first time I'd seen them, and they were both really great. So, this was good. Well, it was going to be my match of the night, but then it got eclipsed.
And then our final was the final of König de Catcher, Ahura versus Elia Bloom. It says Elijah, but in German it's Elia, apparently. I had not been convinced by Bloom at all throughout the tournament so far. I described him as Dominik Mysterio in a tumble dryer because that's what he looks like. He is leather trousers. He has his entire front tattooed, but none of his back. He has a moustache. He has a horrible little proto mullet going on. And then Ahura, as we said, is the sexy man in the Tesco pants. These two beat the absolute living fuck out of each other. Particularly once the match went outside. Bloom's finish is a leaping angle slam. And he did that into 4 rows of chairs on Ahura. And then we had to run for our lives, and I nearly fell flat on my face trying to scrabble over and get out of the way as Ahura gave Elia a burning lariat into our section that had him fly through 3 rows of chairs. Easy for you to say. He did. Oh my God. I remember Ahura doing this insane springboard spinning dive. They were chucking stuff at each other. They were hitting each other with stuff. They fought all over the place. And then once they were in the ring, it was very dramatic as well. The only bit that didn't work for me, and I think that is because I'm not a regular watcher, was when, was it Tihani or Tihani's mate?
It was Tihani's mate for work.
Right. Came out and rang the bell while Bloom had Ahura in a submission hold. So Bloom thought he had won, and the ref's like, he didn't submit, like nothing happened. I understand why they are doing that, perhaps from a storyline purpose, but like being parachuted in as we were, that seemed a bit extra.
Yeah.
And then the match goes on, and I can't remember how we won, but Ahura won. I think it was a submission.
He kicked him in the ball. He did the kind of back. The ref. They went into the ref, and then I think he did.
He kissed the ref. The ref was Taz. He kissed the ref, and as the ref was turning away and wiping his mouth, he kicked Bloom in the bollocks, and then I didn't see what happened. Was it pile driver?
I think he hit. a couple of lariats or something like that, and then basically Ahura won, and everyone went kind of wild because sexy Ahura won, couldn't catch.
Yeah. Match of the weekend.
Yes.
4.5, and I would have gone higher had they not done the bell ringing spot. Yeah. This match was nuts live. I don't know how it came across on TV, but in the building, running away from it, this match was insanity.
Yeah, 4.75 for me on this. This was
one of our crew went live 5 on it, but he's more in tune with WXW than the rest of us.
But yeah, this was incredible. It was being in the room for that was lucky to be there and seeing that kind of atmosphere. Ilya and Ahura basically just went all out. There was moments where you thought they were legit injured with some of the moves they were doing into the chairs and stuff like that. It was wild.
I got a message from Ian after Ahura had taken that angle slam into the chairs that just said his back looks like it's peeling from sunburn.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
It was bad in a good way.
Yeah. And then no confetti, but that's how it ended. That is, we all then went our separate ways and all headed back home.
Well, we all headed out for food afterwards. Yes. And there was a group photo that somehow came out amazingly, given we were standing in the dark. I guess that is the power of the iPhone 16.
And also Kieran wanted to. I'm gonna kind of bury Kieran here for a little bit, but as soon as Kieran heard the venue that was not far away, there was a Volbeat concert. He was kind of moving.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, so you call me an old loser if you like. One of my favourite bands at the moment is Volbeat, and we found out at lunchtime that they were playing the arena not 10 minutes walk from the venue. I'm glad I went to the wrestling instead, but I was tempted for a moment. I think what untempted me was the €120 get-in price. But when we were walking for dinner, we could feel the bass coming out of the arena long before we got to it. Oh, we could also feel the bass in the arena. So in the Turbinenhalle, so we were in Turbinenhalle 2, the second one, the smaller one, which is but like an 800 capacity, and then next door is Turbinenhalle 1, which holds about twice as many. And the first night when we showed up, we didn't know where we were going because we are dumb British people, and it's our first time, and we ended up almost going into hall number 1 because we couldn't tell the heavy metal fans from the wrestling fans, and then some guy spotted Eddie's bright red All Japan jacket and tapped him on the shoulder and went, "You're around the other side."
And then we ran all the way back.
Yeah, but we could feel the bass and hear the bass from that concert in the wrestling show.
Yep.
And then I believe it happened again the next night when there was a club night on.
Over 30s night out or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. We weren't the only confused ones because there were some of the fans of the band were in the wrestling queue by mistake as well. But everything worked out okay. And everybody was very friendly to everybody else. There were a bunch of women who walked past once the gig kicked out, once we were going into the midnight show, who were like, "Are you here for the wrestling?" And we were like, "Yes." And they went, "Have a brilliant time." So everybody's very friendly.
Our night ended at Louisiana. With a bunch of people all having lovely food.
Yes, indeed.
Louisiana was playing Volbeat songs as Volbeat.
Yes, as soon as that gig kicked out, they switched their music over to Volbeat to try and entice those people in. Not that I can imagine any of them could hear anything anyway coming out of that. But yeah.
And then that was us. We went our separate ways and all went home.
So have you booked up for Carrot or next Grand Prix already?
Well, I think the format for next year's Carrot is not Carrot. The Autumn Festival is changing, so I think Carrot's just a little bit too soon. They've sold out for Inner Circle, I believe.
Yes.
So, and I would probably like to do Inner Circle again, so I'll probably be aiming at the Autumn Festival. Curious about what the concept will be. And then potentially I'll have a look at Carrot at some point. They've announced 3 names for Carrot so far.
Yes.
They've announced Yamato from Dragon Gate.
Yes.
They have announced Ares or El Clone, if you're an AEW sicko. They've also announced the Crystal A favorite, Chihiro Hashimoto.
Yes.
And yeah, it seems like, I mean, they really do go out for these Carrot cards, so it'll be quite interesting.
The only one of those I've not seen is Ares, and I like him a lot, but he is not worth £500 on his own. Like, that was basically what it would be for, like, the flights, the tickets, and the accommodation would be about £500, right? And he is not worth that on his own to me. I also have a trip to Japan coming up between now and Carrot, and I would much rather fund that. If I'm feeling flush afterwards, I might consider it. I know people who have booked already.
Yes.
But given that we're talking about this, broadly positive on the WXW Weekender experience?
Yeah, I think I would absolutely go back. I think definitely I'll be looking at, as I say, next year, potentially in September time again. I think it's been doable. Kind of got an idea now of a bit of the systems now to get there and stuff like that. So it's just kind of really the accommodation and finding out what's suitable, but that's about it. But yeah, I can't wait to go back to sleep at 9 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night and watch Bernd DeBrost, the puppet character.
It was pitched to me as the Depressing Toast.
It was the Depressing Toast. It looked absolutely mish. But yeah, I would definitely, and I recommend it for anyone to definitely go and have a look and see what's out there if you get the chance.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things I recommend every European wrestling fan should try once. We are obviously very late to the party. But I'm very glad I've done it at least once. I think I would like to do at least one Carrot as well. Yeah. At some point. To get the full experience. But yeah, I know I described a lot of the wrestling as, 3 stars, but overall the experience was very good. WXW is a professionally run independent wrestling company. They are a company. They don't necessarily open the doors on time, but that's wrestling. But the show started on time. They didn't overrun the production. The production is very good. Yeah. In terms of in the building and in the ring, and in the ring, excuse me, and in the building and on video is what I meant. And it feels like a company.
Yeah, very seriously organized, which I like about they're very much make sure everything is treated with kind of seriousness and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely would recommend it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, or are we done?
I think that's it. We can go to the promotions now.
Well, you've got things to promote. What formats will your tournament take?
I would love it if we did that. We're still currently in discussions, but there could be a last man standing match, a ice on a pole match, big block of ice on a pole, and 3 first blood matches where we've got some very interesting things. I'm gonna steal some ideas from a couple of companies, but you can find me on Blue Sky at Eddie Sideburns, and also on Instagram and a retired Twitter account. So there you go. I'll be lucky if I'll be nice if you want to follow me. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's where you can follow me.
You can find everything to do with this show at linktr.ee/FWApod. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and YouTube at FWApod, and Instagram at FWA.pod. And as for me personally, I am at Kieran Edits on Blue Sky. Thank you very much for listening to this little bonus deviation. We'll be back in approximately 3 weeks.
I think so, 3 weeks.
Yeah, my brain can't do maths. We'll be back in our usual slot at the end of the month with a usual show. And there's 2 things you can do about it.
Sexy.